First question to you. So much has been written, of course, about Steve Jobs. So much has been said about him. How involved was he really in the overall look of the stores?
Steve would be involved in everything.
Yeah?
And those are the greatest clients because, in a way, you're trying to get at their nature and their heart.
Yeah, I mean, give me an example. When you first met him, I mean, did he say, "This is my vision. This is what I want to do"? Did you guys work together on that? How did it evolve?
We first met him at Pixar, and he hired us to do Pixar. And he said, "I've hired you." I'm paraphrasing, because Peter, you do really good large buildings, you do great houses. Now, who else but Steve Jobs would say that and think that?
Yeah, I mean, so the whole glass look to the Apple stores, was that him?
No, I think it was all of us, and I certainly was right in the middle as the architect. And our firm was,
and your firm was as well.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, what did you set out to do? Go ahead.
Was Soho. And it was the first two-story store. The Apple, it was in the old post office down there. And so, how do you get people to go up? That's a great challenge in retail. And we made a glass stair. That was the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what was the goal? What were you setting out to do with that glass?
A place that was very much in the nature of Apple. I guess you might call that branding. I've never quite used that term, but it's the same thing.
And architecture can be part of branding.
Sure can.
I mean, certainly for the Apple look.
Yes.
How is it different, say, I know you've been involved with a number of sort of tech pioneers. Yeah. How did Steve Jobs differ from some of the other people that you've worked with?
Everyone is different. It's amazing. As we all are different. And you really have to get at that. If you don't, you're not going to do your job right. You're not going to get it right.
Yeah. I know that you've worked with Jack Dorsey.
It was a great treat, by the way.
Yeah?
I like him so much.
Really?
Yes.
What do you like about him?
He's sort of laid back, smart, laid back.
Is he very involved in the process, a la Steve Jobs?
Not in the same way as Steve. Steve would be sort of overarching, but certainly Jack is.
Square, that you helped to build their headquarters.
Yes.
How would you characterize?
We did again. I should always say that about my cohorts.
Yes.
Although I was quite involved. Square, we're going to do about 1 floor a year for Square in an old building, new old building from the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Square, which means it's quite interactive and quite open and quite delicate.
What were the challenges that you had to overcome when you were building their headquarters? Any challenges you had to overcome when you were building their headquarters?
Well, one was budget.
Yeah.
You're always going to have to get right at the thing.
Budget is always the big deal, right?
Yeah, and then you've got to make it, and it's scheduled, all of that. But in the end, just to get it right.
All right.
And get it right in the truth for Jack.